So we're going to get started, and we'll ask questions at the end. But so this slide I totally love because the one side is the daughter's face, and then the other side is the mother's face. Okay, so this is pretty neat to see because the daughter's in her 20s and the mother's in her later 40s. So as you can tell, and I have a pointer here before I trip over this, and I'm just going to show you guys. As you can tell, what happens is we lose volume in the face, and everything starts to slide forward. So what fillers do and what Botox does is kind of reverse the hands of time and aging. But I think that's a really good place so you can see what happens with the skin. So this is just a small sampling of a few of the products that we carry at the office. There's probably about 15 more fillers and Botox, Dysport, and the question then is, what is the right product for you? So consults are always complimentary. We'd love to have you guys come in and we love to chat because we want to feed you guys the most up-to-date information that's right for you. Belafil is the central one, the one that I was discussing. That one is not a natural ingredient, so that one is the only product that needs a skin test ahead of time, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later as well. So the conception of is, oh my gosh, a syringe of filler, what does that even mean for me? Per decade, we lose one syringe of filler. So for my ladies who said they're in their 40s, realistically, you could handle 4 syringes of filler in your face, and that sounds scary. But when you look at ratios, a syringe of filler is only 1/5 of a teaspoon. 5 full syringes is a teaspoon of product. So when I discuss that with clients, and again, budget, like I said, it's correcting an area or creating a liquid lift. So there is something for everybody, so that's the important thing. So I love this slide because ultimately you can see the difference between a liquid lift and a spot treat. Spot treatments are things along the lines of enhancing your lips, maybe lifting the gels, a smaller area where 1 or 2 syringes can give you a wow factor. As opposed to a liquid lift, all these products are layerable on top of each other. So whether you come in and you start with the Juvederm and then you say, Michelle, my gosh, I love this, what else can we do? There's a chance that you can add any additional product on top of that. Because as women, it's all about the layering. Whether it's a new piece of jewelry or a pair of shoes, we like to layer and it's really important. So just again, looking at the top to the bottom. And again, coming in and knowing that you want to leave looking like you but just refreshed. So nobody comes in and leaves looking like somebody else. So someone comes in and they say they want, you know, let's say our Kardashian lips. I'm going to kind of guide you to what's appropriate for your face. So I think what Jennifer said was super important about your injector. On average in a day, and people are very secretive with their injectables, I see on average between 22 to 32 men and women every day. So when you look around the room, it's kind of hard to believe that one practice or one injector sees that many people. So when your friend looks so darn good and she tells you she does nothing, we don't believe her. So now you know the hidden secrets. So this is a super important slide, and the reason I love this is really where the skincare and the fillers and Botox come hand in hand. This slide in particular is focused on Botox. You have a static line versus a dynamic line. So if everybody in this room makes a mean face, and they get those little lines in between or a furrow, that's considered a dynamic line. But if sitting here and you're relaxed and you can already see those lines, then that's considered a static line. So Botox might not be the initial answer for you. That's when we need to talk about doing things along the lines of microneedling or PRP, things that actually can soften that static line. Because Botox will stop the muscle movement, but it is not going to change what you see on the surface. So those two things are really important that you do hand in hand. So on label, this is just an interesting fact. Botox is FDA approved for 2 areas. Does anybody know the 2 areas? I'm just curious. 2 areas that, yes?
Your bladder and bladder.
Okay, actually both of those are right, but those are medical. So bladder's correct, migraines are correct, but in the cosmetic end of things, Botox is used for between the eyes and the crow's feet. Thank you. Okay. So the reason I say that is this is considered an on-label use, but as you can tell by the lower half of the screen, there's 10 areas on the face that most people do not realize that Botox can be used. We can sharpen a jawline, we can lift the tip of your nose, we can get rid of the pebbly chin, we can soften the little lip lines, other than just forehead wrinkles. So these are just little facts that kind of come in handy if you're looking just to refresh your face. Before and afters for Botox, it's very easily seen. Smiling with Botox and without Botox, crow's feet and no crow's feet, mean face or thinker face if you don't want to be mean. Most of the women say that they have that face. The number one reason is their husbands. The number two reason is kids, but most people say husbands. So sorry to the men in the back. Okay, so that kind of shows you the difference with crow's feet and the glabella. I'm actually going to introduce you guys to Christopher. Coming up.
Okay.
Christopher works with us as well in both offices. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself. I'm going to pass this over to him for 2 modalities, and then I'll finish up.
So one of the things that I dislike about Botox and filler is that she mentioned that she's 50. She's actually my mom. So the number of times people ask me right away, is this your girlfriend? So guys, I'm actually here to talk about Ultra Shape. It used to be that the Ambo Center was the only place that went below the neck with their laser and hair removal. But with the introduction of Ultra Shape to our practice, we are now able to go below the neck to take care of the fat that just doesn't go away. You've got 2 kinds of fat, guys. You've got the visceral fat and you've got the subcutaneous fat. Visceral fat is underneath the abdomen muscle, subcutaneous is above. We're going to target the stuff that's above the abs. So if you go to the gym, you've been drinking your water, you've been watching what you eat, you're just not tight enough, that's what you're going to come see us for Ultra Shape. It's 3 treatments, 2 weeks apart, 1 awesome result. We've got a pretty good before and after here. This is after those 3 treatments. So if you're getting ready for summer, you're totally ready to step things up. Ultra Shape is approved at FDA for just the abdomen. Weirdly enough, they give us another head that's a bit smaller, so we've taken that and used it on other places on the body. You guys have outer inner thigh problems, or you've got the issue with the bra bulge, you were one of those bras and on the back, you're like, wait a second, where did this come from? I actually have no idea if that's true or not, but I've heard stories. So we can also cover things like the inner thigh, the outer thigh, the bra bulge, and those flanks. You hear the inner tire, you hear the muffin top. I'm sure you guys have been hearing lots of radio commercials for Cool Sculpting. This is not Cool Sculpting. This is a totally different product. I advise you to do your research on both, and when you're ready to make the right decision and choose Ultra Shape, talk to me. You can definitely, all of my cards have my phone number on it. One of the things that Michelle/Mom wants me to specify is that in our office you can text us. So you've got my number if you're more of a texter. So this again is a really brief overview of Ultra Shape. You do want to be within a certain amount of BMI towards your target weight. I can't take someone who needs to hit the gym a bit more and turn them into a supermodel, but I can definitely take that last step. All right, so you can talk to me about that. The next thing that we're going to add, almost missed a slide, guys, there's cake. So you heard Michelle mention that skincare, especially with the Ambo Center, is the icing to Botox and fillers, the cake. We're going to use that analogy again. When we say that Ultra Shape is going to help you lose 1 inch up to 3 inches, this is what we're talking about. Ultra Shape works with an ultrasound wave. Who here has had a kid? Great. So you've had an ultrasound and that was painless, correct? Same thing with this treatment. Ultra Shape is painless, it's an ultrasound wave. It just targets the fat, breaks that up, and it dissolves. So the same thing here, if you get rid of this layer of fat, this icing, you're going to lose 1 inch up here, okay? And that's what we're talking about, losing layers of fat, okay? The last thing I'm going to talk about before I hand this back over to Michelle is Vela Shape. Vela Shape and Ultra Shape, they sound familiar, no? They're actually made by the same company. What Vela Shape does is it takes care of everyone's least favorite word, cellulite. So if you think about Vela Shape as the iron of the skin, it gets a little warm, it gets pretty hot actually, and it actually irons out that skin. So you can see some really good before and afters here of the cellulite bottom and a not so cellulite bottom. Same thing over here. And we can also do skin tightening. So they talk about stretch marks. I haven't seen any great before and afters on stretch marks, so I don't want to get you excited quite yet. We do have a rep back here. His name's Brian. He might be able to pull one up for me. And if you want to talk to him afterwards, you can chat with him. But Vela Shape is used in some great areas, such as the lower thigh, the buttocks, the love handles, the stomach, How about those bingo wings? The ones when you point and things shake a little bit too long? I know, right? So that was going to definitely take care of that as well. These are all options. The only thing I want to tell you, Ultra Shape is permanent unless you gain weight. I can make fat go away, but I can't keep it away if you're going to go into the kitchen and eat cookie dough. With Bella Shape, it's not permanent. You're going to come back every 6 to 9 months to get things touched up upon, okay?
So, hi Bella, if anybody's heard of this, it actually does dissolve this fat under here. So now everybody's like, oh, do I have that? I call it the selfie fat issue. So you know how everybody takes these selfies, it shows up at every angle. It's actually little tiny injections and it dissolves the fat, and this is permanent. So unlike some of the other things, once your fat cells are dissolved under the neck, they will be dissolved forever. Some people take one treatment, you may need more, but when you come in for an evaluation, I put a grid on you, it's pretty neat, so I can get a really good idea of what that will cost for you. But it's very, very painless, and Lisa, who we'll introduce you to at the end, my business partner, had it done, so she's a great person to talk to about it. Okay, so we're actually going to wrap this up on everything we talked to tonight, because you guys probably have a lot of questions.